Hello YouTubers, Charles here, and I'm back with some of my minecart station video tutorials. And last time we did one-way minecart stations, basically end-of-the-line minecart tracks. This time, I'm going to do two-way minecart stations. So let's get right into that. Alright. Just before we get right into that, the stations I did last time, which are right over here, basically have the cart traveling in and out on the same track. Now, most of my stations do feature builds like that, but you can easily turn that one-way track, or two-way track, into two one-way tracks. With a system like this. So I have a chest minecart here at each end to resemble a player. Empty carts don't go nearly as far as carts with players, but minecarts with chests and minecarts with hoppers and TNT and things like that will go nearly as far as a player will go. So I'll just press the button here, which will launch both carts. And you can see they each go on their side of the track and don't collide. So if you have a busy line, you'll probably want to set up something like this. It does take twice the rails, but it, will prevent problems of people accidentally running into each other if there was one line that went both ways and two people tried to use it at the same time. So it's really easy to make a situation like this. Now, I live in a country where we drive on the right-hand side, so I have the cart going on the right hand side. You just turn the cart over like this and you go a bunch. If you don't go all the way, then it's easy to then do the same thing on the other side, and then you can go all the way and complete it. And now a cart coming in here will go off to the right and then merge back onto the single lane. This could be like right at a station, and then leaving this station here, you'll go to the right again and bypass any carts oncoming. You can do them right next to each other. I said right next to each other. It makes hooking it up a bit trickier because when I place this down, it's going to want to connect to there. So if I put that one like that, and then I can just build this. This also works and won't cause any problems, but if you need boosters, it's much easier having one torch that powers both sides by having a space in the middle. Then here you'd need a torch on either side with the booster tracks, or torches underneath, or a redstone block underneath it, or something like that. You could also, instead of a torch, just put a switch. But that's the quick how to do two single direction tracks instead of one dual direction track that most of my stations are designed to use. Alright, so let's get to the two-way stations. This is about the simplest two-way station you can make. No matter how fast you're going, these two on either side will stop you. So, if you're coming in, you'll get stopped. You can then either get off here and break the cart, or if you decide you want to go, you just push the button and you'll be on your way. And it works from either side, obviously. You come in here, you push, and you're on your way. Now, if you come to this station and you want to leave in a direction, if you want to go to the right, you have to put your cart on the left and get in. And then, similarly, if you want to go to the left, you have to put your cart on the right and then get in. But it's a very simple build. Just press the button to continue on. And it doesn't really require much materials. So let's build this quickly. You'll need 4 powered rail, at least 1 normal rail, but you want to have a bunch to continue on, a button, and 5 redstone. So basically, you just I dug down one too much. We'll fix that. You can dig down. You need to dig down 3 in the center, 3 here, and basically, it actually doesn't even have to be this big. There we go. This is the minimum, the absolute minimum. Actually, there. Sorry, I built this before, but was been 2 hours or so. So you put 1 normal rail in the center, 2 up the slopes, and I'm just putting an extra on each end. Stick your button there. It doesn't matter if it's a wood or a stone button. And then this will get powered directly from the button, and then we just need to use that to power the powered rail. And that's the station. There you go. You dig down 3 wide, 2 long, 2 deep, and then you make the little stairs. Then you dig out 3 under here. You can actually remove these. Although it's important is the one holding the button is above the redstone, and the redstone points into the powered rail. And that's it. You just stick down your cart and go. Now, over here I just made some stairs, but you know, this works. So this will work. I mean, you don't have to build it into the ground. You can build it on a raised track that comes down to meet the ground, or however you want to do it. This is what I call the Valley V station, because it's V-shaped down in a valley. The next station is the Mountain V station. Very similar. The big difference is it's up instead of down, and now if you want to go to the right, you put your cart on the right, which is a little more logical to some people. The only problem with this station is you basically have to look behind you to push the button to get going. So you look behind you, push the button, and when you enter the station, you'll come up over the top and then stop. And the way that works is as you enter the station, there's a detector rail, and that powers these powered rail for long enough for you to get up, but it won't power the other side. Now, when you push the button, similarly will power both of these blocks, which power the power rails on both sides, so no matter which side you're on, you'll be sent going. Now, this takes a little more materials, but not really that much. You need 2 detector rails, 4 powered rails, 1 normal rail, and then basically more rails just to keep going, a button, and 5 blocks, and what I did forget is you need it was 7 pieces of redstone. So, building this is rather easy as well. You just make a little hill like this. You put your powered rail on each side like that. You put a normal rail like that. You come back 3. Put a block above that one with a button on it, and that will power them to launch you off. Now all you need is the detector rails, and you put 1 on each side here and here. So as you come into the station, it will power you up and over and onto the down side of the hill. And we'll just put a cart on here to test, give it a little push, and it should wind up on the other side. Yep. And then pressing the button, we'll let it go. Now you could move the button closer, but it gets hard to hit. That'll save you 2 pieces of redstone by moving this block 1 closer. But then when you're in the cart, kind of the edge of the cart starts to hide the button if it's closer. But that is the V Mountain two-way station. Next station looks complicated, but the redstone is really simple. The complicated part is just in the orientation of the track. Now, you actually stop at this station off the main line. Not that people can pass by, but you do stop here. You have a button to go, and you have a lever picking which way. Now, you can put another block up here with a sign, but this lever here will control this track's direction. You can see the track to the left, and now it's to the right, assuming we're facing this way. Left, right, as we flip the lever. So you flip the lever to pick which way you want to go, and then you push this button, and it'll send you on your way. Now, without a person there, it basically stops before it really gets anywhere, but I'll push this back and get in, and you can see we do make it. In fact, let me try that again. I don't think we're right against the block. Yeah. So that's that side, and of course if you go this way, it works as well. Now, the way this works is, this whole design is so that you only cross this block while leaving the station. As you enter the station, you don't cross this block because we don't know which way it's going to be facing. It's going to be facing whichever way the switch was left last. And because we don't know which way it's facing, we just want to avoid it so we know we get to the station, and then you can set it to whichever way you want to go. As you leave the station, you'll cross over it, and that'll send you the right way to go. So, since we're stopping here, from this side, you can see you'll come in and turn, and you'll jump across here, and then just go straight into the stopper here. From this side, you'll come this way, you'll be shuffled off to the side here, jump across here, turn, and then stop as well. Now, the bottom here, or the underside, there's a little bit of redstone, but it's really simple. The switch, you can see, powers this, and this can all be covered up. I just have this exposed, so you can see, but you won't see anything when this is all set up. So the lever powers this block, which powers this bit of redstone. The repeater here pulls the power out of the block, puts it into this block, which powers this redstone, which then turns on and off this torch, and this torch is right under that turn switch block. I have it a different color here. You don't have to make it a different block. It could be the same, whatever block you want, as long as it's not transparent. But to highlight that that's what is the same block underneath and above, I made it a different block. So, let us build this one. You'll need 3 powered rail, 17 regular rail, 3 blocks, 1 lever, 1 switch, 1 repeater, 3 redstone torches, and 3 redstone dust. And that builds from this powered rail to this powered rail and everything in between. So let us build this. We'll just line it up here. We don't need the detector rails anymore. And then place this here to get the turn, but then break it because this is going to be our switch track. So we'll go something like that. And actually, as soon as I applied power to there, that would have flipped anyway. So this is going to come like this, and then a powered rail. Break that one so we can put this curve in, and then you can put it back, and we can put that one back, and then a powered rail here. Power it. So we need a block back here and a button. And that will let us go when we press it. Now all we need is to switch that. And the way to do that is you put a block here. It can't be next to the powered rail. If it was next to the powered rail, and let me get the lever. If it was next to the powered rail, when you switched it, the switch generates power, which would power the powered rail. So it can't be next to the powered rail, so it has to be one off. Alright, see, not affecting the powered rail, but also not affecting this right now. So what we do is we dig down here. See, this is now affecting that. We now put a repeater. And there is our block. Put a torch, and now we need power here. We can remove this one and do it like that. I kind of like putting the block here and doing it like this, and that way you have more solid filled in areas. You can then fill this all in if you want. Makes it look nicer. And now, as you can see, as we flip, that turns. Now, depending on the orientation, up maybe left or right, and down maybe right or left. Different orientations, it'll turn different ways by default, but you just figure out which way it turns. You know, maybe put a block with a sign. Should have had one in my inventory. But you just plop a sign on there, say, hey, up is left, down is right, wherever. Up is Joe's place and down is the mine. Whatever you want. So that is that station. This next station is basically the same station. I have a slightly different track layout, and I have a slightly different layout for the switch. This winds up being slightly narrower, but it comes out here further. So that's the main difference. Here, the switch is up a block, and so we can have it right next to our powered rail without it affecting the powered rail. And then to transmit the signal, we just have a torch and a blob of redstone on the back of the wall. You can put signs here, or next to it, or, next to it over here, wherever you want. So it's slightly narrower, but deeper, and it uses a little bit more tracks. I think it's like 4 more track pieces. Underneath, though, it's basically the same. There's slightly more redstone because we're going slightly further. But otherwise, it's pretty much the same thing. The torch, the switch controls the torch. The torch powers the redstone dust here, which also powers the block. The repeater pulls the power out of the block, powers this block, which transmits the power down to here, which turns on and off this torch. I think the switch direction is backwards of that one, but otherwise it operates identically. And then from here, we have a slightly longer path. We go totally around here, but that allows us to have only a small little jog here, so the station isn't as wide as it was previously. It's a 1 block an hour, but it's 2 blocks deeper. Just depends on how much space you have. So here we need 3 powered rails, 21 normal rails, 3 blocks. Don't need the comparator. 4 torches and 5 bits of redstone. So we'll build this one right in line here as well. Powered rail with a torch. And then I'll break that because here is going to be our turn track. Now, again, you don't have to have that be a different block. It just works out to be easier if it is. Easier to find. Now, also, this has to be 1 block away. That needs to go that way. if you had a track right here, well, now instead of just being 3 options, always connected to the center and left or right, now there's 4 options for this track to turn, and it doesn't know which way to turn. So powering this with a 4th bit of rail here will not cause it to turn at all. So that's why you need 1 block gap. And that's it. Yeah, I had the powered rail just right here. You have the block there. Don't need the sign, but we do need a button. All of these, the buttons can be either stone buttons or wood buttons. I just am using wood because it contrasts well with the stone. So the other powered rail goes here, and add a torch. We add another torch here, and redstone dust. We're gonna have a repeater there, and that will power that. There is our block. So we have 4 bits of redstone there, and the one there, that's 5. And yep, that's our station. Button makes you go. The switch switches the direction. Okay, so this works, and that works, but you got all sorts of rails going everywhere. What if you just want a nice, clean looking T? Something like this. And again, you can power these from underneath if you don't like the torches all standing up. This one you can actually even make shorter, but I just put this here so you get a little extra boost. And because you kind of do need some of the room underneath. But this is a nice, clean T-looking track. You get in here, you push the button, and you come off to this side. You come back in. Works great. Now it's turning off that side. You push the button, come around, and you come back in. Well, what if it's pointing to this side, and I come from this side? Well, what's going to happen? You would think I would go straight, but I wouldn't want to do that if this is a station. So this has these detector rails to detect when a cart comes in, and it will correct the direction of this switch as you approach it. So I'm going to get in and push it this way just so I come back with a little extra boost. And you can see the rail at the last second switched, and then it switched back. And if I switch this switch the other way and do it again, you see the rail switches and then switches back after I cross it. So that's a little more complicated because both this switch has to control that switch direction, the switch track direction, and also these detector rails. It sounds kind of complicated, but the circuitry isn't that complex. So right now, the switch track is facing to the right. And so this torch is on and it's not being powered. So if we're coming from the left, we need to flip this switch track, which means we need to change this torch off. And the easiest way to do that, well, is just the detector rail is here. It will power this block, turning the torch off. And that will switch it around, and then this stays pressed for a second or so. So once we're across, it turns back off. Then we can pick our direction and leave. If this is flipped so it's to the left and we come in from the right, well, this block is now powered, turning this off. And we need to turn this on. And the way to get this to come, if we're coming in from this side, we need to turn this on momentarily so this switch track will angle us towards the stopper. And the way to do that is to turn off the power that is going to this block. Well, the way we do that is we have another torch here that is powering it. So this, when you come over this detector rail, it powers this block, this torch, turning the torch off, which allows this torch to come on, and so the track will flip. So basically there's a double torch system here. Your switch also is powering this torch, which powers this torch, but it's basically inverted from the previous station. So that's how this works. So you can see why I needed the little extra room, and there is room enough to give you an extra boost here, so you're going a little quicker leaving this station than the previous ones. But that's basically how it works. So let's kind of build this one. For this one, you need 4 powered rails, the way I built it, 2 detector rails, and 11 other rails. You'll need a switch, a button, 6 torches, 1 repeater, 13 redstone, and, well, 3 real blocks. I actually have 6 blocks if you want to count the marker ones in the ground. So let's just all line these up. You got your powered rail, 2 blank rails. This will be the detector rail in just a minute. Our switch track goes here. Skip 2 more. Another detector rail. Skip 2 more. That's where I have the powered rail. So let's just put in the track. Then I have a powered rail here. And then a powered rail there. That's the stopper. So we can put the button on here. And then I just have the same kind of switch that I did last time in the previous track, or previous station, with a spot of redstone there and a torch on the back. Alright, I am going to put the detector rails in now that we have all the powered rail. And they go there and there. And now the rest of the work is underground. Now you can, as I said before, you can do this raised. You'll need more blocks to do that, but it should be pretty self-explanatory how to do this raised. And I did not want to break that one. There we go. I wanted to break out that one. So you need a pretty big clear area under here. There is our 1 switch track. And there's our detector rail and our other detector rail. And I'm just clearing a bit of space. Now, except for where the actual redstone is, you can fill it in, except obviously don't fill it like that to break the redstone paths, but you can fill this whole area back in. I am just leaving this open so you can see how it's built. And put that back. So, we will have a block here, and this will control on and off. And actually, I'm building this slightly differently. But there we go. That is the redstone. From this side, and there is some directionality to this, so you'll have to test. The way I'm building it, this one needs to directly attach to the torch, and this one needs to attach to the torch in the center. This one attaches to the switch torch. If you build this the other way around, you may need to reverse them, but it should be really easy to check. When you put a cart down here, it should turn towards it if it's turned away, and then when you flip it, the same thing needs to happen over here. So this is working. And so when this is off, or when this is on, this one will power it to turn it off, and when it's off, this one will remove the power by turning off this torch so that it will come on. And that's all of the simple two-way stations that I have here. And I'll just do one quick, fun little thing since I can. These are all two-way stations, so we can link them all up. And we can put our cart down, press the button, go through, press the button, continue on. It's already turned that way, so we continue on. Oh, we gotta switch this one so we can continue. And there we go. Simple two-way stations from the very basic of just a few powered rails and a button through ones that use simple redstone and some, I want to call it tricky, but some directed rail so that you only go over the switch while exiting the station, not while entering, to one that uses some tricky redstone, but simple rail and clean looking rail so that the switch track always turns towards you while you're entering the station, but you control its direction while you leave the station. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time with some 3 and 4 choice stations that have more ways to go than just left or right. So I'll see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.